You've got a half-finished Duolingo streak, a Notion board for a side project, and a gym plan you reopen once this month. That isn't a discipline problem, it's a novelty problem. You quit right when it stops being new. A crypto app you downloaded, used for 6 days and deleted. A gym membership you're still paying for out of guilt or hope, or because cancelling it somehow needs 3 forms and a royal witness. Or you went all in, set up a Discord server for a side project, bought a mechanical keyboard, told your boys this time was different. Then around week 3 it stopped mattering. None of that's laziness. Laziness wouldn't have bought the mechanical keyboard. Most people think it's a passion problem, like they just need the right thing and it'll stick. That isn't what's happening. The bit after you start matters more. Every time you start something new, your brain dumps attention on it because it's unfamiliar. Novelty gives you a huge boost. New progress, new identity, and a new excuse to buy gear you'll use twice. For a bit, tiny progress feels huge. Then the lessons start repeating. The exciting part's over, and now you're in the boring bit. Your brain, which was handing out dopamine like it had no rent due, just stops. The thing gets old. Picture a graph. Along the bottom, time. Up the side, interest. The line shoots up at the start, then falls off hard around week 2 or 3. It drops off a cliff, the Novelty Cliff. Not a medical term, but it fits. The Duolingo streak died once it stopped feeling new. The side project died once the logo felt more interesting than the thing itself. And the important part's where people quit. Not at the start, when it's hard. Not at the end, when it's pointless. Right in the middle, right at the cliff. And the worst part isn't the quitting, it's what the quitting feels like. The cliff doesn't feel like boredom. It feels like a verdict. When the excitement disappears, you usually think you picked the wrong thing. Because when you were excited, you were showing up without trying. And now you're not, so something must have changed. The easiest explanation is that the thing was never right for you. Convenient, because there's always another app, another routine that looks amazing from a distance. So you start again. And it works for about 3 weeks. Then the cliff, then the next thing, then the cliff again. You keep restarting whenever the feeling of effortless progress disappears. The Novelty Cliff shows up in 3 places. First, collecting. You pick up interest the way most guys buy Steam games during a sale. Pure hype, 0 playtime. A podcast idea. A budgeting app. A Notion board full of colour-coded plans for things you've never done. Second, restarting. Same goal, fresh method. You didn't quit fitness, you quit that program. The next one will work. The last one was wrong. You don't have 12 abandoned attempts, you have 12 first weeks. Third, researching. You never start. You watch people do the thing until it feels like progress. You've compared every beginner's guide ever written. You've not technically begun. All 3 avoid the same thing. The part after the cliff. The part where it's not new anymore and you're still showing up anyways where you get good. The first week feels easy because it's new. You get a little rush from being the kind of person who started. You even act different for a bit. Better playlists, better posture. It feels like the whole thing's already paid off. Then the novelty fades and you're left with the boring repetition and the bit where nothing feels dramatic enough to text the group chat about. That's where most people quit, because the story in their heads already ended. They thought the point was to feel different. It's not. The point's to keep going after you stop feeling different. And once you see that, the old pattern gets a bit embarrassing. You were never testing whether you could start. You were testing whether the thing could keep flattering you. Underneath all of it sits a quiet rule most people never say out loud. If I have to force myself, it means I picked wrong. The right thing should feel easy. The right thing should feel like it chose you back, like a protagonist in a film about someone far more interesting than you. That rule sounds romantic. It also guarantees you quit everything, because nothing stays easy past week 3. That's why the cliff keeps winning. It stops being flattering because it got normal. Normal's where the work starts, and it's much less seductive than a fresh download or a clean streak counter. That's why the fix is pretty dull. Pick one thing and let it become ordinary. Don't upgrade it the second it gets boring. Don't rescue it with a new method every time your attention wobbles. Just let it be a thing you do. If you keep looking for the rush, you'll keep ending up back at the start. If you stay past the rush, you eventually get the thing everyone says they want and almost nobody waits for. Progress, not a breakthrough. Just the slow kind that doesn't photograph well. The reason that stings is how ordinary it sounds. You want a secret method or a perfect routine. The boring version's what works. And the dramatic version, the one with the fresh setup and the Monday restart, is the one that keeps fooling you. They talk about discipline like it's a switch you find in the dark. Most of the time, it's just getting through the awkward middle without making a dramatic speech about yourself. Your brain will always look for a reason to leave. That reason usually sounds sensible. Maybe this method's wrong. Maybe the timing's off. Maybe you need a better setup. Maybe you should start over on Monday. Monday never fixes the part where the things stop feeling exciting. It just gives you permission to buy another notebook. A new setup helps for a day, sometimes 2. After that, you're right back where you were, only with a better looking pile of unfinished stuff. People who stick with things look boring from the outside. They stop auditioning identities. They just keep showing up until the work stops feeling personal and starts feeling normal. The ordinary answer's the part that stings, not that the work's hard. Hard would at least give you a story. You're left with the task and whatever excuse your brain cooks up next. Some people take that as a sign to restart. Others take it as proof they're not built for it. Neither one's usually true. Most of the time, the thing's just past the part where it feels easy. That's all. You don't need a better identity for that. You need a longer span of attention, a less dramatic relationship with the work, a little more patience than feels natural at first. That's the whole game. Start, let it get boring, keep going anyway. You stayed long enough for the thing to stop feeling like a performance. That's how it was always going to work. Anyway, I've a set of adjustable dumbbells to dust off for the first time in 4 months. If this helped, consider subscribing. It's completely free, highly appreciated, and requires far less discipline than going to the gym.